Good afternoon, Gambians. Good afternoon, Africans. We are back again here to continue a fight that started because injustice started mushrooming in the Gambia. We cannot afford to stay with it in the year 2013 in anywhere in the world. Like Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. So definitely we are back again on the airwaves with the spouse of Muhammed Sillah in Canada, a lioness that has made her name in a situation where one will either coil back and be passive or indifferent, or stand up to fight against injustice. That is what Sarah Mallet has chosen to do. What has she chosen to do? She has chosen to do the right thing and nothing else. Now, this is an inspirational program. It is motivational and, of course, something that will keep the fire burning in the minds and hearts of Gambians. Sarah came up and then woke us up with more motivation. On Sunday, December 14th at 2 p.m., bosses from Guelph and Toronto, Ontario are headed to the Central East Correctional Center, where Muhammad and other immigrants and refugees are being held in maximum security. This is a protest where Canadian media has been contacted and headed by Said Hussein, the man who organized Canada's largest protest in 2010, the G20. He was arrested on his way to the protest, and it took $50,000 bail from his university professor to release him. He is currently the head of the No One Is Illegal Toronto division. He is also a freedom fighter and a leader in the Migrant Strike of this facility. We are also doing solidarity fasting that day for 24 hours, and participants can upload their photos. Now, if this is not inspirational, I just don't know what is inspirational. Therefore, Sarah Mallet, on our own side, being the spouse of Muhammed Sillah, a Gambian who ran away from persecution, and of course has established facts of fear, attached to the fear of future persecution, is right now in a jail, and everybody knows what took place some months back when Muhammad was taken to the airport. Sarah Mallet, with a tearful face but a very courageous lady, contacted me and others and said, Essa, there is something happening here. And she explained her story. We all jumped on board and then fought with Sarah. Muhammad was not flown back to the Gambia to be killed. He was taken back to his prison center. Well, the blood of Muhammad himself, like Sarah, is a fighter. He didn't see the prison walls. He continued fighting right there when he was detained. That didn't please those who caused the reason why Said Hussein was jailed and was asked to pay a bail of $50,000. Those are the very people detaining Muhammad today. Muhammad was moved to a maximum security center as if he has killed half of Canada, when in actual fact he is trying to use Canada as a base to stay away, to fight, to free the Gambia from a despot, a dictator, who is at the moment facing Gambian demonstrators in Paris in the name of Yahya Jammeh. That is why we are calling on all Gambians all over the world, not only in Canada, United States, anybody who has the way and the means to be able to fly, to go to Canada to join the demonstration, do so. Otherwise, let us use the Facebook, let us use social media, let us use Skype, everything and join these demonstrators. Because if any person wants to make a speech to support, let me tell you that Sarah is ready to accommodate thousands of people to make sure that things are facilitated and put on YouTube. Any YouTube announcement or speech you see from us is facilitated by this lady with the help of journalists in Canada and the people that she knows in the Canadian media. So never underestimate the power of a determined person. One lady in Canada will make sure that Yahya Jammeh will hear the message that people are determined. And let me tell the Gambian president and his government that Canada may be one of those countries that would stay at the rear, but the moment they come forward, Gambia will definitely understand what demonstration mean, what media means, and what taking Yahya Jammeh's name to the higher heights as far as evil and evil machinations are concerned. He will meet Sarah Mallet along the way. He will meet Canadians along the way, and he will meet the determined Gambians in the diaspora along the way. Therefore, we are going to introduce Sarah. She is going to give us a short inspirational and motivational speech. Sarah, welcome to Hello Gambia, and we are highly motivated. We are in high spirits today after hearing this news from you. What do you have for us, Miss Sarah Mallet, the spouse of Muhammed Sillah?
Hi, assalamu alaikum. Yes, you know, there's a lot of things that are happening over in Canada right now. And I'm going to be honest with you, if Jammeh was not the tyrant that he is, APRC was not doing what they're doing, I mean, we wouldn't be in this struggle over here. So it shows you that a tyrant in a West African country can reach over waters and affect people in other countries like Canada. You know, our goal, our first and foremost goal has always been and will always remain to do whatever we can to free Gambia. This has affected every aspect of our life. You know, a man and a woman, everything about our life is affected by what's happening in Gambia. And the fact that we are over here in Canada fighting for our rights, because of this, it's now affected Canadian government at every level. Jammeh has literally affected Canada Border Services Agency. He's affected the Federal Court of Canada. He's affected these individuals that have these civil rights movements right now in Ontario, like Migrant Strike, like Solidarity City, like No One Is Illegal, who has branches in Ottawa, Montreal, Vancouver, and Toronto. Through this, fortunately, a lot of people now even know where Gambia is, now even know who Jammeh is. Our first goal is to raise awareness about the atrocities in Gambia. Enough is enough. And, you know, inshallah, at some point, Muhammad and I can return to this beautiful country and do what we need to do to build it there. And, you know, it's absolutely crazy to think that in a place like Canada, somebody who has no criminal record or convictions or charges or background at all has been moved to a maximum security prison where they're on lockdown most of the day. He's out for a few hours during the day. He can only call, collect a landline. He's in a cell with another man with a toilet and a sink right there. A man that who is the last person that should be in prison. And, you know, everybody that we've talked to in this part of Canada through these programs and systems know Muhammad's case to be unheard of. The fact that he has no criminal background and he's been moved to prison, that shows you just how strong of a voice he has had through his articles being posted and being put out there. The manager, the chief of detention where he was specifically, told Muhammad, I want to view and edit everything that you put out because they all know the strength of this. They all know that Muhammad needs to be protected. They know that the people involved are legitimate people that are trying to protect Muhammad. And through this, because they understand the grandness of it, they are trying to shut Muhammad up and they're trying to shut me up because now we're getting into a situation where they can't beat us down with imprisonment or separation. They're going to try and beat us down with their words now, the things that they want to try and put out. And these type of fights are not easy. They're not easy, but they must be done because if they're not done, then too many other people suffer beyond you.
Correct.
So thankfully, there's this massive protest happening. I hope it gets to be really big. There's a lot of really important people involved. And actually, the original group, No Deportations to Iran, that originally took on Muhammad's case and initiated the 5 protests before Muhammad's removal, they're joining as well on next Saturday. So it's organized very well by a lot of different people to bring a lot of awareness. We're all doing a 24-hour solidarity fast with the people that are in the Lindsay jail. This Lindsay jail is definitely maximum security. It is up in the country. You cannot access it by public transportation. It has a lot of different ranges where different murderers and rapists and people are. And fortunately, where Muhammad is right now, he's in with other immigrants, fortunately. So, we pray that he is safe. He's definitely can never be broken. His spirit cannot be broken. So,
okay. All right, Sarah. The other side, before I let you go, is that in my capacity as ambassador, I once worked with Canada. Historically, that is a fact. Now, the president also brings me back, to be able to work with Canada. My present official capacity, I work with Canada every day. So by looking at the list of these cities, Toronto, Ontario, and Guelph, and also I hear you mention Montreal. I know that these are huge cities where a lot of people are. So by looking at that, I understand that the weight behind you is not something that it's not something that somebody should look low upon. So I believe something is out there that is definitely going to send a stronger signal to the dictatorship in the Gambia and to dictators anywhere in the world. So you said something that is very important, that this is a fight that's not easy, but it has to be done. Otherwise, other people are going to suffer. Other people are going to be arrested. So you see, by listening to you talk like that, Sarah, I've understood that you are not into this only for Muhammad. And that is a thing that definitely makes people admire and respect you. What do you have to say to the Gambian community, home and abroad? What do you have to share with them as far as the fight against dictatorship is concerned? I want to hear your version on that, Sarah Mallet.
Right. Well, Muhammad would not be in this position in Canada if he could return home. So if you think that by being in the UK or the US or anywhere that you are immune to what's happening in your home country, the bottom line is you were born in Gambia. This is your first nationality, and this affects far beyond people's imagination. It's not just about getting protection, or this is about a permanent problem that it must be fixed, because I'm pretty sure most of us would want to return back to Gambia, would want to return back with our husbands and our spouses. This is very serious, and you're right. Places like Toronto is the place in Canada where the politicians are, where the civil rights movements are, where this is our hub in Ontario specifically. And places like Ottawa, that's Canada's capital. We have our Parliament building there. No one is illegal also operates out of Ottawa and Vancouver. No one is illegal operates out of all of the major cities in Canada. And this is a massive civil rights movement, and the main purpose that they have right now is the human rights violations against immigrants and refugees. First of all, they don't believe that no one is illegal. They believe that, specifically, you should not be holding an immigrant or a refugee past 90 days if you cannot remove them. This is what they're fighting for. They've put in submissions to the United Nations. They are working with a lot of different people, and Saeed Hussein, he's a very good man. He's very respected over here, specifically for his organization of the G20 protests in 2010, where police brutality broke out. There was a lot of lawsuits that were filed. What Saeed Hussein did was he opened up the can of worms in Canada to expose that power is with the people, and the people must pay attention to what is going on. Doesn't matter what country you're in. If you think it's it's great or it's safe. You are not actively involved in the decisions that are being made. Watch and see how these leaders will take over and how they will affect you and your family and your children and your grandchildren. So I hope that Jammeh has been watching what's happening. I hope that he sees that there are people in Canada who do not approve of his dictatorship and do not approve of his lack of human rights. And I hope that he recognizes that he can try and silence Gambians. He can try and silence who he wants to silence by sending out his NIA agents. But the fact of the matter is, truth always comes out. Lying does not stop the truth, it only delays it. So watch and see what happens.
Okay, Sarah, before we go, I have what I can analyze as far as Said Hussein is concerned, the head of the illegal Toronto, the head of the No One Is Illegal Toronto division. I mean, I think Said's approach, his philosophy, in fact, is a solution to countries in the Western Hemisphere, and also is a solution to all the countries that are affected by illegal immigration. Because the moment that people like Said and yourself are listened to and understood, I think for the West to fight, especially Canada, United States of America, France and United Kingdom, to be able to fight against illegal immigration, the fastest way is to sponsor democracy, is to make sure that people are empowered by using the media, by using finance. Here I will invite organizations like, or institutions like the National Democratic Institute in the United States of America. I'm sure that you have an equivalent branch in Canada, in the United Kingdom and France, to step up, to move forward, to understand that, I mean, sponsoring organizations within the Western Hemisphere, especially those led by people who are fighting against injustice and dictatorship in Africa, is the best way they can open a new chapter with the new Africa, so that we can have democratic governments in Africa, so that no African will stay here any longer and go back to build that continent. What do you have to say about that, Sarah?
No, that's right. I mean, I can tell you right now that if the funds were there for our case, I would organize a big conference with a lot of different people on this panel, and you know, there'd be a lot of influential, good people that would come and speak. And yes, unfortunately, if the funds just aren't there, then you have to do the very, very best that you can. And it's about awareness. It has to be. That's the only way that you change things, is by people coming together, because their voice then becomes democracy. A people's voice becomes democracy. If you're quiet, then the democracy becomes whatever your government wants it to be. So, you know, people really are the ones that, a country is not one person. A country is everybody that's involved. And if you're not involved in it, then you know, everything goes down, and it will. Doesn't matter what country you're in, doesn't matter what leader you have. If you sit back, the power-hungry people are going to fight for that spot, because they know that it's an easy target.
Sarah, you know, you've created a motto, and I would suggest that you leave it on your Facebook page, and I would make sure that it spreads. Because what you said is, I like it. You said, people's voice becomes democracy, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sarah Mallet. We'll leave you to continue. I know right now you're very busy, because this is not a small organization. This is huge, and we appreciate every step you take towards helping us restore democracy in the Gambia. And definitely, Sarah, you are somebody that I think is worthy of emulation. And what do you have as a last word for us here, and for the Gambians home and abroad, and for every other person who is out there standing to fight against injustice?
I want to say thank you, Essa and Baba, for everything that you are doing. What you're doing should be absolutely commended, and everybody respects you. So I want to thank you for what you do. And I may be in Canada, but I'm no different than any Gambian. We all look the same on the inside, and we all believe in the same rights, and we all want the same things for each other. So, you know, we're all in this together. Color doesn't separate us. Country doesn't separate us. Flag doesn't separate us. We're all human beings, and we all want the same things for ourselves, for our husbands, for our children. So No fighting, let's do this together.
Yes, absolutely, Sarah. And then lastly, before I let you go, I want to know that, I want to not to know, but to say this, that you've also been coordinating with Gambian figures who have stood near you to make sure that you are not alone. And I understand that statements and supporting letters have come forward. I can just make reference to Imam Baba Mukhtar Lee has written something in support of Muhammad, and also others like our dear mother, Mama Adelaide Sose, and then others have written, statements to support. So definitely you are not left alone in the fight, and I know you are a very appreciative person, and I know that you wouldn't, hesitate for me to come forward and speak on your behalf to send your appreciation to these figures, right?
Absolutely right. The support we've had from yourself, Imam Baba, and Yahya Jammeh, people have come forward and shown their support and their appreciativeness of what's happening. And this shows you that we have to come together to do these things. We have to, otherwise, nobody's an island. We must fight this together, and the support and the coming together, it makes you stronger and it makes you go harder and faster.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sarah. So we'll let you go now. I know that you are very busy at the moment. Thank you very much. God bless you, Sarah.
God bless you too, Essa. Thank you.
Thank you.